Hello and welcome to our May Well You cooking video. My name is Jill Chodak. I'm a clinical dietitian here at CCHP, and I am talking about grilling today. So as we enter the spring, summer months, I think about the grill quite a bit. And often when we think about grilling, we think about hamburgers, hot dogs, and kind of the same old thing. So I wanted to shake things up a little bit for May, and offer you kind of a healthy alternative to grilling when you're kind of wanting to use maybe the grill during the week, but you don't want the same old hamburgers, hot dogs, Italian sausage. So we are going to be grilling up a balanced plate of shrimp tacos. And so this is the recipe, and we will get started. Okay, so we're gonna try this. So I have preheated my grill to about 350, 400 degrees. And we want to do preheat because, well, it makes everything crispier and it goes a lot better as far as getting that sizzle and whatnot. So timing is everything here. So what we're going to do is opening my good old grill. And I already have my cast iron pan preheated in there. I threw it on there when I was preheating the grill. You can use cast iron. You can not use cast iron. I like cast iron on a grill because stuff doesn't fall through the cracks. But it's a personal choice. I always have cast iron around because then you can add things to recipes. Even if you're doing hamburgers, you can always add mushrooms, which adds fiber into your grill routine. So this is a cool way to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our olive oil and we're going to put it into, actually this is avocado oil. We're going to put it into our cast iron. The reason I'm using avocado oil is because it has a higher smoke point, meaning it can take the hotter heat of the grill. It's really important because you don't want people to kind of be tasting burnt stuff as you're cooking stuff on the grill. We're going to get our fiber into our meal.
Two shot here.
Anything that I do on the grill, I'm always thinking, how do I add fiber? How can I make it more healthy, heart healthy? Because fiber is the thing that really amps up the health of a recipe. You don't have to remove things to make it healthy. You can totally think about adding things. And the way to do that is through fiber. So fiber is anything from a plant. And especially in the spring or summer months, oh my gosh, it's everywhere, right? Farmers markets, whatever, you maybe have a garden, start chopping and put it on the grill. So this is just sliced red pepper, onion, and baby tomatoes. I want to add color to my tacos. So honestly, that's why I chose these. Also, if you think about like what makes tacos and fajitas good, it's these types of flavors. So I just cut those up, put them in the cast iron skillet, and I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lime. Always looking to add layers of flavor, and citrus is really great for stuff on the grill. Okay, so I squeeze 2 limes in there. I give it a little stir. And you can add seasonings or not. So I am a big seasoning queen. So I'm going to choose to add a little bit of salt. I have that flaky salt.
The flake salt.
It just is a coarser texture, so it adds a little bit of crunch and kind of different dimension to the dish. If you're watching your sodium intake, maybe you have kidney disease, or maybe you have high blood pressure and someone told you to watch your sodium, you can skip this part and add flavor instead. Add pepper and black pepper. And if you don't like it, don't add it. Okay, and then I'm gonna give it one little stir. And then what's nice about doing something on a cast iron, again, I don't like work for the cast iron industry, I'm not selling you anything, but why it's so nice is because often whoever's cooking on the grill generally has to man the grill during a party or whatever, and then you kind of miss out on the action because you're constantly trying to flip things and turn things and whatnot. And this is a good way to kind of give yourself a little time with your guests or your family or away from the grill while you can do other things. So it's kind of a nice way to add a little space for you to enjoy yourself while you're grilling. And I chose shrimp because shrimp is, well, A, it's good, but B, it's just a twist on what we normally have. Maybe when you make tacos, you're using ground beef, ground turkey, things like that. But we're on a grill. We can't really grill that unless we have another cast iron pan. And I wanted something that we typically find on the grill. So maybe you see the shrimp skewers at a grocery store or whatnot. I chose not to skewer stuff today. Maybe that burns me. I don't know. But I didn't have the time and I didn't want to. And I think you can do it either way. Anyway, Shrimp are naturally lower in saturated fat. Yes, they are higher in cholesterol. But when we think about high cholesterol in our bodies, we want to target and lower saturated fat, not dietary cholesterol. Science has continuously showed us that. So remember, we're focusing on adding fiber, decreasing saturated fat, and I think shrimp will fit the flavor bill and the health bill. So that's what we're going to do. So here we go. Now I got frozen in the recipe. I got frozen shrimp that was peeled, deveined, and has the tails removed because I want that. And it was frozen, so I had a quick thought. You can follow the package, but I just put it in a bowl of cold water
because it wasn't completely thawed. So this is what it looks like. It should be like a bright gray.
Okay, and we're just gonna start slow. These go quick, so you want to be very mindful of that.
They take maybe 3 minutes on the grill. And so generally when you're getting them down, the other ones need to be flipped.
So I'm gonna go really quick on these. I'm just putting them right on. My go-to taco seasoning is chili powder. So this is what I'm dusting my shrimp with. You do not have to season the shrimp. It's not in the recipe. I do because I want it to taste good. So it tastes good either way, but like we love spicy. So chili powder is going on. I got a little bit of ground mustard. This is my secret ingredient for making really great steaks on the grill. I've got cumin. See how I'm working really fast. And I don't really care that some of these spices are going down there because I clean my grill regularly. Okay, garlic powders next. I'm just sprinkling it on, babies. I'm gonna do only one side, frankly, because it's cooking pretty fast. And last one, garlic powder. So onion powder, garlic powder, mustard, chili powder, and cumin. That's my go-to taco thing.
I'm gonna give the peppers, onions, and tomatoes a little stir. Okay, and then we're gonna let this close for a quick second.
I'm gonna clear my little area. Get my tongs. Get things out of the way. Now, if you don't like shrimp or you have a shrimp allergy in the family, you can easily do this with like tempeh or tofu or something of that nature. I have grilled like thin slices of tofu on the grill, and it's worked out great. So totally within your wheelhouse to do it. Okay, so see how quick that was? So it's kind of just simmering. We got it going. My temperature on my grill is kind of tanking down a little bit because I had it open so long. So I'm going to turn it back up. I like to keep it around 300, 350 because that's when things really get nice and hard. And you just basically watch them. You have a good set of tongs and you can pull these off and always keep them warm on the top rack.
You don't want them to get overcooked. Overcooked shrimp are just really gummy and kind of gross. So you can see this one side is nice and pink and the other one is not, so you know it's ready to flip. And they should have like, it should be firm kind of on that one side.
And you might have hot spots on the grill. Just navigate around those as best you can.
And then also, I'm always thinking of my exit strategy when I'm grilling. Okay, where are these babies going when they're done? What am I doing if they finish before like everything else, right? Sometimes that happens. And so always have an exit strategy when you're cooking things on the grill. Okay, well for these, if they're gonna finish early, I'm gonna throw them. I have a little backup plate over there, or I might put them on the top level to be warm. I just don't want them to get too much heat because then they'll overcook. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give my other guys a stir. They're cooking nicely. And basically you just want the peppers and onions and tomatoes to cook through and kind of get nice and flavorful, enhances their flavor a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna close this for another minute. Okay, and then the last couple steps.
We've got tortillas to grill, and we've got romaine lettuce. So we're a lettuce family. We like to have lettuce on stuff. I like lettuce in my tacos, and I get bored with standard lettuce. It's a bad rap because honestly, it's mostly water, but who cares? It adds fiber and it adds flavor and crunch to your tacos. So if it's a way to add it, this is a fun way to add it. And you can make salads this way too. So I have just romaine heads here. that you can literally just throw on the grill. I'll show you. And then they're nice and charred and they have that extra flavor profile to bring to the table. So you could even make a salad out of this, whatever you think. So we're gonna let that simmer for a second.
Here's the romaine.
And I'm gonna take a peek at my shrimp. It's still a little gray. So we're gonna just kind of flip these around. Make sure some of these are gonna cook faster. Like I said, I have hot spots. Okay, these are looking like they're done.
So I'm gonna move these guys up to the top. Straight there. So skewers would be obviously easier to flip, but this is my jam, so this is what I do. I like to, you know, kind of play around. It should be fun, right? You want to have fun. Okay, and I'm feeling the texture too. Like some of these are getting pretty like hard and firm. And so if they do, you don't want them to go too far. You want them to still be like moist on the center. Like this guy's got.
You could really use any fish for these fish tacos, for these shrimp tacos. Really anything you like. Even if you had like leftovers from grilling the night before or this or that, it really opens the doors. You don't have to feel locked into the standard protocol. The smell is so great. Oh my gosh. This is where you could also add any other seasonings that you would want to add to your veggies. They're really cooking down and nice. They've kind of melded together. This could be used for seriously anything. So if you were doing Italian sausage and you had rolls and stuff that you were doing, you could use this concoction of the peppers, onions, and even tomatoes to put on a dog. It's really versatile. Okay, so we're gonna get the romaine out while the shrimp is finishing cooking. So it's just romaine. I'm leaving the end on right now. It says it's washed. If you want to rip off the outer layers, but you're gonna just throw it on the grill like this.
And I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit on my grill just so that it gets nice and charred. Look at the color on the grill though. I mean, it's amazing. So colorful. And that's like what I think of when I think of like spring, summer.
Close this one time. And then we need to rotate the romaine. See how like timing is everything. So I started the things that are going to cook longest first. So sometimes that's a little bit hard because you're trying to backtrack in your head. So that's a good methodology when you're thinking about planning for the grill so that you're not constantly having to run back and forth is, okay, what's going to take the longest to cook? Let's get that on first. And then you can shape everything else around it. So let's like talk about the nutrition of this meal while we're kind of processing here. So this meal rings in at 427 calories, which is actually light. That's one taco. So if you had two tacos, that'd be about 800. And that's the tippy top range generally of a meal that we would want. And the taco, let's be real, is like, it's more of a burrito. It's giant. It's got 13.5 grams of fiber. So as a woman, if your goal is 8 grams per meal, you're far exceeding that. As a man, if you're trying to get 10 grams per meal to hit your 30 to 38 grams total per day, this is right in your wheelhouse too. It's going to get you both there. It has 33 grams of protein. That's awesome. One 3-ounce chicken breast has only 25 grams. So kind of just to give you perspective. Here's the kicker. Saturated fat, 2.5 grams in this whole big taco / burrito type of thing. One hamburger with nothing else, just the patty, is 3.5 grams of saturated fat. So we've drastically decreased that amount, making it heart healthy. Ooh, look at the char.
Oh yeah, that's what we want to see. It wilts it a little bit. Nice. All right, and these shrimp got to be done, so I'm going to pull them.
They're nice and bright pink. Still moist. I'm going to pile them up here. And each like thing that you put on the grill, you can season as far as like if you wanted to do the taco seasoning on the romaine, if you wanted to, yeah, you can always layer it later. But I'm making space now. The kicker, grilling the tortilla. So whole wheat tortilla. This has a lot of fiber in it. That's why I chose whole wheat. Let's see. One of these has 5 grams of fiber. One whole wheat tortilla versus a plain one that has none. So that really helps to make this a heart healthy meal is through the fiber in the grain, which is why a simple switch like a whole wheat bun when you're grilling is a huge change because again, you're adding fiber, it's helping to clear things out, it's helping to amp up the nutrition. So simple switches like that can make a huge difference. So we're gonna put this on the grill.
Just like this. Boom. Now you gotta really tend to this because this thing can burn quick. All right, let's see our romaine still going. All right, I'm gonna do, it's always a game time decision. I'm gonna close this for a second.
Just because I want the romaine to get a little bit more charred, but then you can't watch it, so it's tough. But I'm standing here waiting for it is always my hardest part. I'm always like, is it okay? You gotta trust your instincts and let it go. Because if you keep checking it, then it doesn't stay hot. So trust it, and if you screw up, you can always try again. I'm gonna get my limes ready and my salsa. So we're a big salsa family as well. I had a lot of red going on in this recipe with red pepper and tomatoes. So instead of choosing my standard red salsa, I actually went with a salsa verde, which is made from tomatillos. So
it has
tomatillos, jalapenos, onion, coriander, salt. And that's basically it. So it's going to just give a sweeter, different flavor. Okay, we got to open it up now because we don't want to burn our tortilla. Oh, and the gamble paid off. All right. Ooh, nice. What this does is it makes the tortilla a little bit more malleable so you can bend it and fold it in the best ways possible. I find that tongs are like the best grilling. Okay, so I pulled my tortilla off. I'm turning my grill off because we're done with cooking it and we don't need to kind of scorch anything.
So I have my tortilla. I'm gonna take some shrimp, and how many you choose is totally up to you. So I'm gonna go 4. I'm notorious for over filling stuff, just because I like all the things. So I always overfill it and then everything falls out. The key is eat it over your plate or another taco shell so that then it fills the second thing that you're gonna eat. No big deal. All right, now we're gonna take this kind of onion pepper mixture. Oh my God, it's so amazing. It has tomatoes in there. It made it really nice and juicy. If you had a slotted spoon, that might be good so you don't get extra. The tongs work great, but if you didn't want to use your tongs, having something that doesn't take all that liquid because then otherwise it gets soggy.
Now we got this romaine. Nice and charred. So I just cut off a bunch of pieces.
And I'm gonna put that on my taco. Okay, so I've got lettuce. I've got shrimp, I've got tomatoes, peppers, onions. I'm gonna squeeze lime. This is where you have choices here. You can do some cheese, which will add saturated fat, or you could skip the cheese.
I'm gonna add cheese. So this is cojita cheese, which is a Mexican cheese, which I love. Kind of like a feta almost, but not. And then I have that tomatillo salsa that I'm going to get. Spoonful. I'm just gonna spoon that right on the top. Oh my gosh, the smells, you guys.
Okay, so here's the finished product.
Okay. Now the fold is key. So you're gonna fold the bottom up and then the sides in. And it's nice and warm because we grilled it. You could fold in the top, but frankly, I'm gonna eat it, so. Oh yeah, so good. So this is an easy way to play around on the grill. It's not your standard recipe. It's just kind of a little twist to keep things interesting as we navigate these spring and summer months and we think about our health and kind of coming back to life, right? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.